You know what's wild? While everyone was busy obsessing over Shohei Ohtani's dog and whether the Yankees would actually spend money this offseason, the Toronto Blue Jays just executed the most under-the-radar power move in baseball. And I'm not talking about some minor league depth signing. I'm talking about Kuma Okamoto, the Japanese slugger who just torched Nippon professional baseball for 3 straight seasons, landing in Toronto on a 4-year, $60 million deal that has got to have every other front office in baseball absolutely losing their minds right now. Quick favor, if you are loving this content, hit that subscribe button. Over 95% of viewers watch without subscribing. It costs nothing but means everything to us. Already subscribed? Awesome. Thanks for the support. Now back to the main event. Let me paint you a picture. It is December in some luxury hotel suite, probably in San Diego during the winter meetings. Ross Atkins is sitting there, sipping his coffee, watching Scott Boras demand $400 million for a guy who hit .260 last season. Meanwhile, Atkins has got his phone out, texting his scouts in Japan, asking one simple question. How much would it cost to bring Kuma Okamoto to Canada? And when they came back with the number, $60 million over 4 years, you could practically hear the champagne bottles popping in the Blue Jays front office. Because let's be real, that is not just a good deal. That is highway robbery in broad daylight, and somehow, nobody is talking about it loud enough. Here's the kicker. Kuma Okamoto is not some unproven prospect taking his first swing at professional baseball. This man has been absolutely obliterating NPB pitching for the past 3 years. We are talking a slash line that would make Aaron Judge jealous, power numbers that belong in a video game, and a consistency at the plate that most major league hitters would trade their entire shoe collection for. And yet, while teams are out here throwing $200 million at guys who cannot stay healthy for a full season, Toronto swooped in and grabbed Okamoto for what amounts to pocket change in today's inflated free agent market. If that does not scream market inefficiency, I do not know what does. But wait, there's more. This is not just about getting a bargain basement price on premium talent. This is about the Blue Jays identifying a flaw in how the entire league values international players, especially coming out of Japan. See, while NPB has produced generational talents like Ichiro, Hideki Matsui, and Ohtani, there is still this weird skepticism baked into MLB front offices. They see Japanese players and immediately start doing mental gymnastics about whether the talent translates, whether the player can handle American pitching, whether they will adjust to the culture. It is like watching someone talk themselves out of buying Amazon stock in 1998 because they are worried about whether people will actually shop online. Meanwhile, the smart money, the guys who actually do their homework, they are cashing in. And Toronto? They did their homework. They watched Okamoto destroy fastballs that would get major league hitters out. They analyzed his swing mechanics against breaking balls. They studied his plate discipline, his ability to adjust mid-at-bat, his power to all fields. And when they crunched the numbers, when they compared his production to what guys like Kyle Schwarber and Christian Yelich were getting on the open market, they realized something beautiful. They could get 90% of the production for 25% of the cost. That is not just good scouting. That is pure genius wrapped in a maple leaf. Now let us talk about what this means for the AL East, because this division just got a whole lot more interesting. The Yankees are over there trying to figure out if they can afford Juan Soto without sacrificing their grandchildren's college fund. The Red Sox are doing whatever it is the Red Sox do these days, which honestly seems like a lot of hoping and not a lot of actual roster improvement. The Rays are playing Moneyball on a budget that would make a college student jealous. And the Orioles? They have got young talent bursting out of every corner, but they are still a year or 2 away from. Then you have got Toronto, who just added a middle-of-the-order bat that can change games with one swing, and they did it without mortgaging their future or emptying their bank account. Think about this lineup for a second. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hitting third, Kuma Okamoto sliding into the cleanup spot, and suddenly pitchers do not have anywhere to hide. You cannot pitch around Vladdy because Okamoto is standing there looking like he wants to send a baseball into Lake Ontario. You cannot give Okamoto anything to hit because then you have got Bo Bichette and the rest of the lineup ready to make you pay. It is a domino effect that turns a good offense into a nightmare scenario for opposing pitchers. And the best part? Toronto did not have to give up prospects, did not have to trade away their farm system, and did not have to commit to some albatross contract that will haunt them in 2029. But here is where it gets really interesting, and I mean buckle up, because this is where the conspiracy theories start sounding less crazy and more like exactly what happened. There is a reason this deal came in at $60 million over 4 years instead of the $100 million that a player of Okamoto's caliber should command in this market. And it is not because Toronto has some magic negotiating powers. It is because they understood something fundamental about how contracts work for international players, especially guys coming from Japan. See, when you are bringing over a player from NPB, there are factors at play that do not exist with domestic free agents. Endorsement deals back home, posting fees, the value of being the face of baseball in an international market, marketing opportunities that extend beyond just the baseball diamond. Toronto leveraged all of that. They structured this deal in a way that on paper looks like $15 million per year, but when you factor in the global branding opportunities, the chance to be the bridge between Japanese baseball fans and the Blue Jays franchise, the endorsement money that Okamoto can make by being in Toronto instead of some small market team, the actual value to him might be closer to $20 million annually. Except Toronto does not have to pay it. The market does. Japanese companies wanting to advertise in Canada do. Fans buying jerseys with his name on it do. It is financial engineering that would make Wall Street jealous, and it is all completely legal and brilliant. And let us not pretend this does not have massive implications for the rest of baseball. Because if Toronto just proved you can get elite international talent at a fraction of what American free agents cost, every team with a decent analytics department is going to be on the phone with their scouts in Japan, Korea, and Taiwan asking why they are not doing the same thing. This could fundamentally shift how teams approach roster construction. Why pay $200 million for a power hitter who has been in the league for 8 years and is showing signs of decline when you can spend $60 million on a guy in his prime coming from a league that is way better than people give it credit for? But we cannot ignore the elephant in the room, or should I say, the all-star shortstop who might be looking at this signing with very mixed emotions. Bo Bichette, the homegrown star who has been the face of this franchise for years. The guy who Toronto fans have watched grow up right before their eyes. And now, with Kuma Okamoto coming to town and eating up payroll space, with the Blue Jays clearly signaling they are going all in on international talent, what does that mean for Bo's future in Toronto? Because let's face it, contracts are coming up. Decisions are being made. And if Toronto can replace expensive American talent with cost-effective international stars, where does that leave a guy like Bichette when his extension talks start getting serious? I am not saying Bo is getting traded tomorrow, but I am saying that the landscape just shifted, and shifts like this have consequences. If I am Bo's agent, I am watching this Okamoto deal very closely, because it tells me everything I need to know about how Toronto values different types of players. And if I am another team looking to poach talent from the Blue Jays, I am circling Bo's name on my whiteboard and waiting for the right moment to strike. Because nothing says we are moving in a different direction quite like signing a guy to do what you were supposed to rely on your existing stars to do. Meanwhile, the rest of the AL East has got to be scrambling. The Yankees just watched a division rival add a legitimate middle-of-the-order threat for the cost of what they pay Giancarlo Stanton to rehab every other month. The Rays are probably kicking themselves for not identifying this opportunity first, considering they have made a career out of finding value where others see risk. And Baltimore? They are young, they are hungry, but now they have got to deal with an upgraded Toronto lineup that just added another weapon. If I am an Orioles fan, I am not panicking yet, but I am definitely getting a little nervous about what the Blue Jays are building up north. And we have not even talked about the cultural impact yet. Baseball is a global game, whether the old guard wants to admit it or not. By bringing Kuma Okamoto to Toronto, the Blue Jays are not just adding wins to their season. They are tapping into an entirely new fan base. Japanese baseball fans who might not have cared about the Blue Jays yesterday are now invested. They are buying merchandise. They are tuning into games at ridiculous hours just to watch their guy hit. They are following Toronto on social media, engaging with content, becoming part of the community. That is value you cannot put a price tag on, But it sure as hell helps when you are trying to justify spending $60 million to ownership. So here we are. Toronto just pulled off what might go down as one of the sneakiest, smartest, most underrated moves of the entire offseason. While everyone else was busy playing checkers, haggling over aging sluggers and injury-prone pitchers, the Blue Jays were playing three-dimensional chess. They identified a market inefficiency, exploited it perfectly, upgraded their lineup without destroying their payroll flexibility, and sent a message to the entire league that they are serious about competing. And the scary part? This might just be the beginning. If this works, if Okamoto comes over and does what everyone expects him to do, Toronto has just written the blueprint for how to build a contender in the modern era without spending like the Dodgers or Yankees. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this deal blows up in their face. Maybe Okamoto struggles to adjust, maybe the transition from NPB to MLB is harder than expected, maybe injuries derail everything. Baseball is unpredictable like that. But based on everything we know, based on the tape, the numbers, the track record, this looks like a home run in every sense of the word. And if Toronto ends up hoisting a championship trophy in a few years, you can trace it back to this exact moment. The moment they stopped playing by the old rules and started writing new ones. The Blue Jays just changed the game. The question is, who is paying attention? And who is going to be the next team to pull off a heist like this? Stay tuned, folks, because if there is one thing we know about baseball, it is that when someone finds a market inefficiency, everyone else rushes to exploit it. And that is when things get really fun. Thanks for watching Baseball Networks, and remember, subscribe if you have not already, because we are just getting started.